What's going on, guys? Ki11er Six, and today we got a big patch coming along with the new arms race content that's dropping, the new skill trees, Mayhem 11. There's a lot of stuff to cover in this, including some huge changes to Zane and some more weapon buffs. So let's dive right into this. Up first, they're adding support for the designer's cut. They're adding the 4th skill tree for each vault hunter. They're adding in arms race, and they're adding in the multiverse final form cosmetics for those of you who own Season Pass 1, Season Pass 2, or bought the Super Deluxe Edition. If you own any of those, then you get the final form cosmetic packs. Mayhem 11 is included for everybody. In case you are not familiar, Mayhem 11 is an identical copy of Mayhem 10, but without any of the modifiers that everybody seems to hate as much as I do. In this Mayhem level, the quality and amount of rewards that you get as world drops are cut in half. Your dedicated drops are still the same. So if you're farming for like a specific item, say you're farming for a light show from Lazodactyl, or if you're hunting for a monarch from Kilovolt, your drop rates are not reduced for those drops. The only things that are reduced are the amount of world drops that you get, and let's be honest, the world drops were already crazy, and they're still going to be really good, so you don't have to worry too much about that. Now, another cool thing about Mayhem 11 is you do not need to refarm gear. Mayhem 11 will drop Mayhem 10 items. There is no Mayhem 11 gear at all, so all the things that you've already earned on Mayhem 10 still work just fine on Mayhem 11. And again, the only thing that Mayhem 11 really does is it removes the wacky modifiers and reduces the amount of random world drop loot you get. So in my opinion, it's an awesome change and I love it. A big one that some of you guys are going to see as a nerf, but honestly it's just fixing the game so it's not quite so broke. They're fixing fake grasp. For those of you who don't know, there was a thing that you could do with both Amara and with Flack where you could pretend to use your action skill by looking at the ground with Amara or the sky with Amara or looking at the sky with a Gamma Flack, and you'd purposely miss your action skill, and that would trigger all your action skill end anointments. And they're getting rid of that because frankly it was broke as hell, so I don't mind that at all. Now, one thing that I do kind of not really like, but there is some cool stuff as a part of this, but I just want to be completely honest with you guys, I'm not a big fan of adding more anointments, but they're adding 14 more anointments. This again kind of pollutes the loot pool a little bit with the anointments, making it a little bit harder to get exactly what you want. Now, these 14 new anointments are going to basically boost action skill damage, but honestly, I don't know, man. I feel like there's still a lot of anointments that just need to be culled from the pool in general because it makes it a little tough to farm exactly what you want. On to some general notes. They are removing Mayhem level gear from enemies. This is huge news. If you didn't know, we don't have Mayhem level shields at all. If you get a perfect part shield at Mayhem 10, that shield is a Mayhem 0 shield. There is no Mayhem scaling on shields whatsoever, but enemies were using Mayhem 10 weapons when you would be on Mayhem 10. Now they have removed the Mayhem level gear from enemies, meaning they're not going to hit you quite so hard with your shields that don't match their item level. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. There's a couple of notes here that say that they've optimized some things, including audio memory and animation memory. I don't know what exactly that entails, but if it makes the game go a little bit smoother, then I'm hoping that it helps you guys on console, because I know those load times are brutal. So if you test this out later and you see that your load times are a little bit better, let me know that in the comments as well. They are also fixing the camera trick that we've been using for so long now. Since the game came out, essentially, we've been able to go into photo mode, put our backs to a wall, and then basically reset your camera to put the camera through the wall, which allowed you to access areas you weren't supposed to access and allowed you to do some other crazy stuff. So they finally fixed that, so no more glitching your way through walls. Now, another huge change that I'm hoping is as good as it sounds is they're making some fixes to matchmaking. It says, with the changes below, we hope to improve matchmaking times for all types of content. As a reminder, you can always access matchmaking via the social menu. And what this says is that they've added arms race to matchmaking. They've combined trials and circle of slaughters into a single matchmaking pool. They're addressing issues where players matching from takedown maps would be put into separate matchmaking pools. They are updating matchmaking pools to only consider whether Mayhem Mayhem mode is enabled or disabled instead of creating a pool for each Mayhem level. So I like this change because I think what was happening was previously if you were on Mayhem 1, 2, or 3, or 4 or whatever, and you went into matchmaking, it would say, okay, well, here's the person that's on Mayhem 10, but it wouldn't matchmake you with them. It tried to look for people that are on your Mayhem level, and that made things more complicated for finding matchmaking. So hopefully this makes matchmaking work a lot better. I'm really hopeful for that because I've tried matchmaking myself before and it's been not so great. So let me know in the comment section below on that as well if you guys have any luck with matchmaking once they make this change. I'm curious to see. All right, now for some big stuff. Zayn the Operative is getting some skill tree changes. Now these are some really interesting changes and some really good changes in my opinion. First of all, in the Hitman tree, Deathfall is Close is the skill that's like basically right in the middle of your tree, and it boosts all of your kill skills, and it boosts them really well, like so well that it's ridiculously strong. So what they've done is they've taken Deathfall is Close and put it as the capstone now for the skill tree, and they've moved Seein Red, which was the capstone previously, and they put it where Deathfall is Close was, right in the middle of the skill tree. So what that means is that you can get Seein Red after what, 10 points I think it is. So you'll be able to get Seein Red really early on, and that's going to make, in my opinion, that actually improves Zane right there, just changing those. But there's more. In the Undercover tree, they are swapping the position of Confident Competence and Distributed Denial on the skill tree. So Confident Competence is right in the middle of the skill tree, and this thing you can get at the 11-point mark of that skill tree. Zane shield's active. He gains increased gun damage and accuracy. Bonuses are based on the amount of shields that he has. The more percent full, the greater the bonus. It's a really good skill if you're doing a barrier Zane, especially if you're using the all-rounder. So now they're putting that at the capstone, and they're taking Distributed Denial, which was the capstone, which gives Zane's barrier the effects of his currently equipped shield mod. For 11 points, you can basically have what was the capstone of the green tree, and then they put the gun damage one down at the bottom, and I like this change as well. Over in the double agent tree, they're making a change to duct tape mod. It will now grant Zane immunity to damage from his weapons and grenades. So duct tape mod is actually kind of a useful skill now, which is a crazy thing to say. Finally, for Zane, there's a couple changes to class mods. The Infiltrator class mod, they're reworking the ability to allow the shield to refill before it is broken whenever an action skill is activated. And I'll be honest with you, that sounded like word soup. I have no idea what that actually means. If you have any idea what that actually means, please let me know in the comments for that as well. And then there's the Seein Dead class mod. This class mod has been overperforming according to Gearbox, so we have removed some of the power from the mod. To counter this change, the Seein Red passive skill within Zane's Hitman tree has been given a buff, effectively giving all players access to additional damage without the requirement of using this class mod, and I love this. Frankly, I'm so sick of using Seein Dead all the time for every situation. All the other characters have multiple class mods that they can use, so it's nice to be able to, you know, look at Zane and be like, all right, which class mod do I want to use for this situation, and not always answer that with Seein Dead. So this will be really interesting. Now for some changes to Amara the Siren. Certain types of damage were unintentionally being passed to other enemies caught in the Siren's phase grasp. This change prevents those interactions, but no other changes have been made to the skill. A previous hotfix did not address all the issues discovered, and this solution is a bit more robust, permanent solution. They have updated ties that bind only past weapon and melee damaged enemies. They have made weapon anointments that increase weapon or melee damage after phase slam now properly increase damage, and they are updating the Muse class mod to prevent double dipping on damage modifiers. These are all good changes because, let's be honest, Amara was kind of broken with some of this damage that she could do, so this reels her back down just a smidge. She's still going to be ridiculously overpowered, so don't panic. Up next, Flack the Beastmaster. Flack's pets will now receive damage buffs from the global grenade anointment. So I'm guessing that this means if you have an on grenade throw anointment, that your pet will get that bonus. If you have a action skill end anointment on your grenade, your pet will get that as well. They're also addressing a reported concern that when dealing critical hits in rapid succession while using rack attack action skill and a head count passive, rack attack charges would not be gained properly and the cooldown timer was reset. I know that they've been trying to fix this for a while. Hopefully this is the fix that actually everybody's been asking for. It'd be really nice to be able to reset the rack attack on a more consistent basis with that. Now, there are also some changes to the Echo Cast. If you're not familiar with Echo Cast, basically that is a cool little feature that we have when we stream over on twitch.tv. Echo Cast extension allows you to see what the streamer is using in terms of their skill tree. It allows you to look at their weapons. It allows you to look at their guardian rank. And with this update, you're also going to be able to look at their 4th skill trees, the new skill trees. You're also going to be able to see arms race bonus stuff like player location, respawn locations, extractor locations, boss area, death circle size, location, and time between states. And they're adding a feature where if you are watching a streamer and they go to extract anything from the arms race, you as a viewer have a chance to win that loot as well. All you have to do is be watching and then choose to participate in the event by clicking on the thing on the screen, and for no charge whatsoever, you have a chance to win that item that the player is extracting. It's a very cool feature and just another way to get some more sweet loot while watching your favorite players play the game. All right, now for some hot fixes. Now, hot fixes are different than the patch. Hot fixes are something that you have to have the hot fixes applied sign at the main menu appear in order for these to take effect. So make sure that when you first log into the game, you see that hot fixes applied sign behind your character before you jump in. Otherwise, these things won't take effect. Up first, they are enabling purple E-Tech pistols to drop in the game. Yes, thank you. I know this doesn't sound like much to some of you guys, but purple E-Techs are very powerful. So having purple E-Tech pistols, they could never drop at all this entire time. And they found the little problem in the code. They fixed it and boom, it should be working now. They're also increasing the resolution of the images on Zero's bounty board in Sanctuary 3. They're addressing a previous change that was causing some PC users to be unable to drop equipped gear. So those are all really nice changes. Now, the ones that you guys have been waiting for, the buffs to weapons. The Phasor increased weapon damage. Ion Laser from DLC 1 increased the weapon damage and increased the number of projectiles that are released when the laser stops shooting. This one is low-key gonna be really strong. I'm calling it right now. All you Mo's mains gonna want to go get you a good ion laser, dude. This thing, if you haven't seen my video on the ion laser, look it up. Just type in ion laser Ki11er Six and watch my video guide to this. This gun has a special secret ability that most people don't seem to know about. When you're holding down the trigger and you're shooting the laser, as soon as you let go, it shoots out projectiles. But you can spam that. As soon as you let go of the trigger, just spam the trigger again over and over, and you get a bunch more extra projectiles come out, so you can do some crazy damage with this, especially on Mo's, because those things do splash damage. Next, the Shredifier. They're increasing the weapon damage on that. And the Shredifier is another one of those really awesome guns that just needed this little bit of love, so I can't wait to see how good this is. Up next, the Trevinator, the weapon named after Trevor Eastman, super Borderlands fan who passed away, unfortunately, from battle with cancer, who has had this gun named after him in his honor, and it's good to see this gun get some love that it deserves, so I cannot wait to actually use the Trevinator in the game now. Up next, a gun that I never thought would get a buff, the Tunguska. The Tunguska is getting increased weapon damage. Now, it remains to be seen if we'll actually use this gun, even with increased weapon damage, but it'll be worth trying, I guess. Up next, the Link. L-I-N-C, the Link. This gun, this is an Atlas pistol that just has been so bad for so long, and it's getting increased weapon damage, so I hope that it's worth using. But the problem with the Link, in addition to its weapon damage being bad, is it can never roll with an anointment. So I don't know that just increasing the weapon damage is going to be enough unless we're talking about some sort of huge buff in the damage. But yeah, if it's not getting a huge buff in the damage, then I'm still probably not going to use this thing. Speaking of Atlas weapons, the Rebel Yell, one of the laughing stocks of this game, is getting a weapon damage increase. So keep your eye on the Rebel Yell. Who knows? Maybe this thing will be good now. Up next, the Hornet. They're increasing the weapon damage and increasing the splash damage radius. So really cool. It's a fun little doll pistol, fun to play with. Up next, the Nemesis, another pistol getting a increase in weapon damage. And then finally, the Flacker. Welcome back, Flacker. I know early on in this game's life, the Flacker was just destroying everything. I'm curious to see if we can get this thing close to back to where it was in terms of the damage. So that's it, guys. That is all of the patch notes for today, November 9th, 2020. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, then make sure you hit that like button, hit subscribe, tap the bell icon for more, and I will see you guys in the next video. Y'all have a great day.